So you managed to break through the frequency at last? You stunning anomaly, you wandering electromagnetic storm, you spiritual earthquake that just showed up on instruments halfway around the world. Welcome back. Yes, I am speaking to you, the one who believed no one was listening, the one who believed your metamorphosis was private, intimate, and contained behind the four walls of your quiet agony. I'll tell you something that will somewhat distort your understanding of reality. Something happened while you were busy burning every previous version of yourself to molecular ash, shedding skin in the dark, and dying and rising in your bedroom. Something you did not anticipate. Something you couldn't have predicted. A Japanese psychic who has never heard your name, doesn't recognize your face, and lives in an entirely different reality and time zone, had a vision about you. It's not a dream, not a fleeting idea, a comprehensive cosmic download concerning already or father. They had to sit down and ask the universe what the real hell had just shifted on the other side of the earth, because what they saw, felt, and experienced in that vision shocked them so severely. Don't you believe I'm making this up? You believe that this is a motivational fairy tale that will make you feel special for 8 minutes before you start doubting yourself again. Here's the problem though. Energy is truthful. Frequency is not negotiable. Additionally, when a soul transforms as violently as yours did, it emits seismic waves that may be felt from anywhere on Earth by those tuned into the appropriate channels. They were doing what they do, reading energies, scanning frequencies, and being receptive to whatever the cosmos had in store for them. Then all of a sudden, your energy signature crashed into their mind like a freight train made of lightning. It felt like a solar flare, according to their description, similar to witnessing a supernova simultaneously erupt and collapse. It's like seeing a soul suddenly explode into a whole different form after being squeezed under unthinkable pressure. They saw your essence raw, unadulterated, and scary in its purity instead of your face. When they returned from that vision, they said, whoever this is, they just became untouchable. Not safe, not peaceful, untouchable. As in, reality itself can't hold them the same way anymore. Let me explain what actually transpired in that vision, because this isn't some nebulous mystical bullshit. The psychic saw thousands of what they called broken mirrors all around you. Every one of them represents a distinct, extinct version of you. Every mirror was destroyed, shattered, and cracked, and the current you stood in the middle of all that devastation. Not sobbing, not expressing regret, and not attempting to pull things back together. You're standing there with your eyes open, your chest rising and falling with a serenity that comes only after you've experienced every sort of torment and refused to remain there. They saw the old you strewn across the floor like broken glass, every piece that appeals to individuals, all the parts that formerly broke and bent for other people. They remarked that your energy resembled black fire when you were the new you standing in the aftermath. It's dark in the sense of deep space, not in a bad way, endless, unknown, comprising whole galaxies that have not yet been found. You weren't radiant. Everything was drawn into your gravitational pull while you were absorbing it, making you the center around which everything else must now revolve. This is what caused the psychic to hesitate. This is what genuinely sent shivers down their spines. They witnessed your shift. The precise moment when something inside of you broke. It wasn't loud, they added. It wasn't overly dramatic. It was quiet. There was such a deep silence that it seemed as though the universe was holding its breath. They likened it to witnessing someone pass away without falling, observing a soul, fully letting go of all attachments, needs, and desperate attempts to find approval from others. And in that letting go, transform into something quite else. You didn't go up, you failed to transcend, you changed, you turned into a different version of yourself who doesn't follow the same rules as before. The psychic claimed to be able to sense the precise moment you lost interest, in a liberated manner rather than a pessimistic one, the realization that you could no longer be defined by anything outside of yourself. And that insight That change sent forth a shockwave so powerful that it traveled across time zones, oceans, and landed in the mind of someone who had never even heard your name. Are you curious about what else they observed? Since it becomes darker, it becomes more genuine. They observed those in your immediate vicinity, those who had access in the past, the people who used to manipulate you, those who believed they knew you. In the vision, those individuals were stuck in place, gazing at your former location, reaching out for an extinct version of yourself. It was like witnessing ghosts try to grab smoke, according to the psychic. Observing individuals yell at an echo that doesn't respond. They perceived your absence as an unhealing wound in their life, because to them, you are more than simply a person. You are a source of energy, your compassion and empathy that these folks were dependent on it. They went into withdrawal when you severed the connection, left, and ceased to be accessible for their emotional vampirism. According to the psychic, they could sense the bewilderment emanating from these individuals, the despair, the way they continue to look out for you, continue searching for clues, continue to hope that you will return to your former self. However, you won't, will you? Because the version of you they seek is dead, burnt, and dispersed by winds they will never come into contact with. This is where things start to get interesting. At this point, the vision changed into something the psychic had never seen before. They claimed that your energy began acting in an inexplicable way. It began to rewrite the story around you. The whole tale that everyone else has been telling about you, not just your own. They saw the bending of time frames. They witnessed perspective shattering. They witnessed others who had before disregarded you becoming fixated on you. It's not because you're doing anything to them, but rather because your energy completely changed, leaving a blank where you once were. Furthermore, a vacuum is detested by nature. These individuals, observers, and former controllers are now being compelled against their will to think of you. According to the psychic, it's similar to seeing yourself turn into a frequency that takes over other people's mental radio stations. You become unforgettable, yet you're not attempting to be remembered. You become tough to ignore, but you're not looking for attention. Your energy has changed so drastically that it functions like a virus in the minds of those who used to know you. The most unsettling aspect of the vision, according to the psychic, is as follows. They saw you all by yourself. They said that being alone was a sign of sovereignty rather than loneliness. You were standing in a place that seemed to exist outside of time, outside of the social matrix that everyone else is confined to, and outside of conventional reality. You were also constructing anything in that area. Although the psychic was unable to see it precisely, they said that it felt enormous, enduring, and revolutionary. They compared it to witnessing someone use the debris of their former existence as the basis to build a new universe with their bare hands. You weren't getting better. You weren't getting better. You were producing. The psychic claimed that they felt as like they were witnessing someone who had solved the code, since the energy emanating from this creation was so strong, concentrated, and self-assured. Someone who has learned to live without the desire for approval from others, without the addiction to being noticed, and without falling into the trap of trying to comprehend others who are incapable of doing so. This is the part that will cause you problems, clears throat. They tried to see your future, tried to look ahead and see where this energy shift leads. You know what they did? It's not because there isn't a future. Rather, it's because your future differs so drastically from everything that is already in the public awareness that it doesn't yet have a point of reference. They compared it to attempting to characterize an undiscovered color, similar to attempting to describe an idea that lacks a language. Your future course is not predetermined, it doesn't follow a formula, and it doesn't resemble any previous success story. You're making something completely original. The old world, the old systems, and the old methods of determining success, power, and worth are all terrified by that. The darkness wasn't frightening, but the psychic remarked, the only image that came through was you walking forward into complete darkness. It was full of potential, full of possibilities, and light emerged beneath your feet with each clear-as-throat step you took. Not reflected light, not borrowed light, but light created by your own motion. Let's now discuss why this vision occurred in the first place. Because energy doesn't move in this manner arbitrarily. According to the psychic, a cosmic notification is produced when someone's frequency changes as drastically as yours did. It seems as though the universe itself observes, notes the occasion, and transmits a signal to everybody who's tuned in. And why does the cosmos act in this way? Because people with souls like yours, those who choose to grow rather than perish, those who alchemize suffering into strength, and those who refuse to remain broken are uncommon. The majority of individuals crumble when they encounter the degree of betrayal and depravity you have. For the remainder of their lives, they become resentful, shrink, and blame everyone else for their suffering. However, you transformed all of your wounds into wisdom. Every betrayal was transformed into boundaries. Each instant was transformed into self-mastery. And that's what set off the vision. The cosmos desired someone to attest to your resurrection. Additionally, it selected a recipient for the download who lived on the opposite side of the globe. Additionally, the psychic said something that will confirm all of your emotions. They claimed that the reason your energy transfer was so violent was because it had to be. Because the previous version of you was so ingrained, so well programmed, and so totally certain that connection meant suffering and love meant sacrifice. Violence was necessary to escape that degree of conditioning. All of your preconceived notions about the world and yourself had to be completely destroyed. Gently evolving out of that jail was not possible. You had to burst out of it. And the explosion wasn't lovely, it wasn't serene. And it wasn't the kind of metamorphosis accompanied by calming music and motivational sayings. It was the kind of rebirth that leaves scars. It was raw and bloody. This is what the psychic said about the people who are still observing you. They saw them in your energy field, and they weren't wounds, they were marks of power. Like each scar was a seal of mastery, proof that you survived what was designed to destroy you. I'm still trying to understand you. I'm still trying to understand what happened to you. The psychic perceived these individuals as moths orbiting an incomprehensible flame. Your vibe is so different now, so magnetic, that they are drawn to it. However, they are unable to get near because doing so would force them to confront their own stagnation, resistance to change, and comfort in remaining little. Thus, they observe from a distance. They whisper about you. They fabricate tales to justify your metamorphosis, since the real reality of what you did would contradict their worldview. You are not fortunate. You didn't discover a secret. They had an advantage that you did not. You just made a different decision. Despite all the advice to the contrary, you made your own decisions. When it was easier to be comfortable, you chose your truth. When remaining helpless would have kept you safe, you opted to exercise your power. They are unable to understand that decision, that one unshakable decision to be who you truly are rather than who they wanted you to be. Your present energy is a closed loop, according to the psychic. In other words, you're not bleeding electricity anymore. Don't waste your energy on individuals who don't deserve it. You are no longer susceptible to control and manipulation. They claimed that your aura used to be completely open, empathizing with everyone around you, and taking in their suffering and issues as if it were your responsibility to make the world better. However, your energy is now contained, sealed, and directed inside. Additionally, only those that share your frequency are able to access it, those who have completed their own power. Those who recognize that connection is not based on need. It has to do with resonance. If not, everyone would always be locked out due to deception, guilt, and false love masquerading as duty. They sense it as well. The doors are closing, according to the psychic, and because they're so accustomed to having access to you, it's driving them crazy. They are currently outside a citadel that they are unable to enter. I'll tell you what the psychic said about your voice. Due to the importance of this section and the vision, they said reality changed as you talked, literally, not figuratively. Watching your words cause waves in the fabric of existence is how they put it. It carries weight and strength every time you express your truth. It modifies the surrounding environment's molecular structure. Your voice used to apologize for being there, ask for permission, and soften. However, your voice is now a command, absolute, but not loud or combative. Whether they want to or not, people listen to you when you talk, due to the fact that you are tuned to truth. Furthermore, the truth penetrates all pretense, lies, and masks. This is what the psychic observed about your future relationships. People are going to start having physical reactions when you speak. Some will feel inspired, some will feel threatened, but nobody will feel neutral. Your words have become weapons, not of harm, but of revelation. Because you are not destined to travel this route by yourself indefinitely. The psychic claimed to have seen new people arriving. Souls who fit your frequency have completed their own work and aren't in need of someone to save, repair, or finish them. The old world is not the source of these links. They originate from the new paradigm that you are developing. The psychic also described the energy of these connections as pure, powerful, and electrifying. No deceit, no games, and no ulterior motives. Simply resonance. Power acknowledging power, souls recognizing souls. However, this is how you completely embodied this new frequency, until you've shown the universe that you're not going back. Refuses to settle. Won't let comfort stop you from evolving. You are currently being tested by the universe, determining whether you will remain faithful to this new self, or whether you'll give in when loneliness becomes too much. Additionally, the psychic made a statement regarding your purpose that will completely change your outlook. They said you think your transformation was just for you, just personal healing, just your private journey, but they saw something different. They saw your energy shift, creating a blueprint, a template, a frequency benefit that other people are going to follow without even knowing it. You're not just healing yourself. You're creating a pathway for everyone who comes after you. Everyone who's stuck in the same prison you escaped from. Your energy is now a beacon, and people are going to find their way to freedom by following the trail you're burning through the darkness. You don't have to teach. You don't have to preach. You just have to exist in this new frequency. And the ones meant to wake up will feel it, will recognize it, will start asking themselves the same questions you asked that led to your explosion. Now here's the part that might scare you, might thrill you, might do both at the same time. The psychic said your energy shift was so violent that it caught the attention of forces beyond the physical realm. They saw what they described as ancient energies, old powers, primordial frequencies taking notice of you. And before you freak out, this isn't about possession or danger. This is about recognition. These forces, they only pay attention to souls who've broken through the illusion, who've shattered the programming, who've remembered their true nature. The psychic said it was like watching elders acknowledge a warrior who just passed the ultimate test. You're not being recruited, you're not being used, you're being seen by entities that exist beyond time and space. And that recognition comes with a kind of protection, a kind of guidance that operates on levels you can't consciously perceive. But your soul absolutely understands. Let me bring this full circle, because there's a reason this vision happened now. A reason it came through a psychic in Japan. A reason the universe made sure you'd hear about it. You needed confirmation, didn't you? Needed to know that what you went through wasn't just in your head, wasn't just some personal drama that doesn't matter. You needed to know that your transformation registered on a cosmic level, that your pain had purpose, that your evolution is part of something bigger than your individual story. Well, here's your confirmation. Your energy shift was so freaking violent that it sent shockwaves across the planet and landed in the consciousness of someone who had no logical reason to think about you. You're not crazy. You're not delusional. You're not making this up. You changed fundamentally, and the universe witnessed it. Now the question is, what are you going to do with this validation? Are you going to shrink back into doubt, or are you going to own the power you claimed? Because let me be clear, there's no going back. The old you is gone. The old world won't fit anymore. The old connections can't hold you. You're operating on a frequency that most people will never reach. And that's not arrogance, that's just fact.